Hi guys, hope you're doing well. I thought it'd be a good idea to go through a few videos covering things we've done in lessons in the past or things we're doing right now or we might have done recently. I'm going to start with something that's a little bit in depth, so apologies if I'm going on a little bit. But I thought it'd be a good idea to be clear on this one. So this is the pit stop process. Okay, so what is the pit stop process? So it's the mindset the kids go through when they're sitting down at the change of ends. They ask themselves 4 questions while they're having their drink, okay, in their mind, and then they go back out and then they play the next 2 games before they get another chance to come and sit down and do another pit stop process. Why do we have the pit stop process? So 70% of tennis, in a tennis match, you're not actually playing any tennis. You're in between the points, you're sitting down at change of ends, okay, that's obviously a massive chunk. So only 30% of the time you're actually playing points. Okay, so I'm sure you can agree it's pretty important how we think and what we're thinking about in those moments to help us hopefully come out on top a little bit more and perform a little bit better during the points. Okay, when I'm selling this to the kids for the first time, I try and compare it to Formula One, so the actual pit stop in Formula One. So where the car goes into a pit stop and they have their tyres changed and their petrol put in and whatever else they do in the team. And I asked the kids, okay, so what do you think the world record is, guys, for the quickest pit stop? Okay, and they think about it, and then just so you know, it's actually 1.8 seconds. Okay, so in under 2 seconds, they've done all those things. They've changed the tyres, they've put the petrol in the car, and they're back out ready to perform for however long before they come back in. So obviously quite similar to tennis in a way. So when they sit down at a change of ends, I say to them again, right, how long do you get, guys, at a change of ends? So 90 seconds. So wow, that's a long time in comparison, hell of a long time. So that's why we have this process, okay, to get them thinking about the right things, having good conversations with themselves in their mind, which will hopefully help them, okay, represent their best self when they're playing their matches again. So let's get into it. Okay, so question 1 is, did you commit? Okay, that's always question 1. Okay, so that means, did you commit your best effort? Okay, did you chase every ball? Did you give your absolute best? Okay, a little bit more in depth, which we're using more now, is did you commit to being the right temperature? Okay, so the kids don't want to be too hot and they don't want to be too cold. They want to try and be just right as much as they can, or at least realize if I'm too hot, how can I get back? How can I snap back? Hear Djokovic talk. Sorry, cut out there. I might have to do this in a few chunks, this video. Yeah, I was talking about Djokovic. So Djokovic talks about when he loses it, he realizes he's losing it and he quickly snaps back and he's right back in the present. Okay, he talks a lot about that. So that's what I mean by temperature. Did you commit to trying to do your best to stay in the right temperature? Did you represent your best self? Okay, if you can answer yes to that, it's a yes or no answer. Okay, if you can answer yes, you can move on to question 2. If you answer no, then there's no point in doing the rest of these questions, okay? Because if you didn't give your best, if you didn't commit to being the right temperature, then what's the point in doing the performance review? There's probably not much point in doing that. Okay, so you go away and think about, okay, how can I represent committing to my best? Okay, next time, that would be where you start. Okay, if you can answer yes, question 2 is the plan working? Okay, so the plan, if I use myself, played a lot of matches in my time. Okay, so my plan the first 3 games is normally, not always, depends who I'm playing, on the weather and things like that. So my plan in general might be, I'm going to keep them back. I want as many forehands as I can. I'm going to try and hit to their backhand a lot. Okay, use my slice backhand to get me out of trouble. Okay, that's generally going to be my plan. Okay, and I'm going to wait for the right ball to maybe hit it a little bit bigger. Okay, that's a pretty simple plan that I try and do. Okay, and then question 3. Let's say, for example, I'm 3-0 up now. Would I change anything? Probably not. I'm not going to change anything. Okay, so I don't need to go into question 4, which is, if I would change anything, how would I do it? I'll give you an example of that. So if maybe my slice backhand, I'm trying to think what might happen. If my slice backhand's getting a bit floaty, okay, it's sitting up a little bit and they're putting it away, or I'm not making enough first serves, okay, so they're getting a lot of looks at my second serve. Okay, would I change anything? Yes, I would. I wouldn't change too much, but I'd probably start using my second serve and my first serve a bit more, so they're not getting too many looks at my second serve. And then I'd think about, okay, how can I knife my slice backhand a little bit? I need to keep it down a bit more. Do I need to run round it a bit more and use my fitness to get round it a bit more? Okay, and then I go out and I play another 2 games, and then I come back and sit down again, and I do the process all over again. I like to think of it in time as well. So if we're using the pit stop like in Formula One, 1.8 seconds, and now I get 90 seconds to sit down. So when I'm selling those 2 games, rather than think of it as 2 games, it's actually 6 minutes on average. Okay, so 2 games takes about 6 minutes. So if I think of it as, right, I'm going to go and give my best to the plan for the next 6 minutes, come back and review. It might have gone horribly wrong, it might be about right, it might be bang on, I might have nailed it on the head. Okay, so it's just to get them thinking the right way about their match. Okay. Okay, I would say as well, there's not many kids that I'd say are like really proficient at this at the minute. I think kids are working on it, getting better at it. Like I said, it's quite in depth. I think it takes a little bit of time to sell this one. But if you guys can kind of give the similar kind of language, so when you're having those conversations after a match, when they've calmed down, when they've got back to the right temperature, they might have lost a really tough one and they don't want to talk about it too much. They might not want to talk about it at all until the next day. So you do it the next day. If that's the best time to do it, that's when you do it. Okay, and then you can help them go through the questions. Because sometimes I know it's hard, you're not sure what to say to them afterwards. So this could be something you can kind of become proficient at yourself. I hope that makes sense. If you've got any more questions about this, then please do come and ask. I'm going to do another video as well coming up soon. A more simple version that we've tried. It's been received quite well with the slightly younger players, and it's a good progression into this as well. I think this is, if we're aiming for the top, to be really, really proficient at playing matches and being a really good reviewer, which is important, then I feel this is the one to aim for. But there's another one as well, which is similar, but a little bit easier to execute. Okay, so if that's a more realistic one to do right now, so kids like, if I had to put an age on it, like under 12 and unders, then the next video might be better for you. Okay, cheers guys.